Sailors set upon the sea, little boat with sails down, paddling so dutifully, knowing not where you're bound. Wouldn't you like to find a way to have all the power of peace today? Wouldn't you like to be able to say nothing's better than this? Nothing's better than this. Sailors set upon the sea, mighty ship with crew around, struggling internally, never let your guard down. Wouldn't you like to find a way to have all the power of peace today? Wouldn't you like to be able to say nothing's better than this? Nothing's better than this. sailors set upon the sea. Any vessel, any town, floating on the mystery, not a worry to be found. Wouldn't you like to find a way to have all the power of peace today? Wouldn't you like to be able to say nothing's better than this? Nothing's better than this.
I want to welcome to the stage some dear friends of mine from Switzerland. Damien on the percussion, and Eva Luna. And so you'll get to know them a little bit throughout the evening. I'm sure you'll love them as much as I do too. And you can't miss Jalevi.
No!
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of living, and come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of living, and come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair, 'cause it doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again, come again, come, and yet again, come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of living, and come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of living, and come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair, 'cause it doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again, come again, come, and yet again, come, come again, come, come again, come, come again, come again, come. And it doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again, come again, come, and yet again, come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of living, and come, come, whoever you are. worshiper, lover of living, and come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair. Come, come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, and come, come, whoever you are. This isn't a caravan of despair, 'cause it doesn't matter if you've broken your vows 1,000 times before, and yet again, come again, come, and yet again, come.
Morning. How y'all doing today? Super fabulous, did I hear that? Well, congratulations. Why don't you make that a little contagious and spread it around and send it all sorts of places around the world. This is a church built on covenant, not creed. We're here not because we think alike and not because we believe alike, but because we all believe that it's important how we live this life and how we treat one another. So, whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, if you care to be here with us, you're welcome, and we're glad to have you. We front load these services with a little bit of information. I always see the tech teams laughing, and I never know what's going on. I know, it's never me. So, do we have a board person of the day that's going to give some announcements?
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Russell. I am a board member at large, but I'm not. I'm here today. So our volunteer of the month, I'll be here all week. Our volunteer of the month for this month in March is Rebecca Tuggle. She is our current board treasurer, which is always a big job, but it's especially a big job when the budget ends don't necessarily meet up. So we really appreciate all she's done and is doing. She frequently represents All Souls at events in the community, like World Religion Day, Pride in the Park, things like that, and she's just always ready to lend a hand and step up for whatever we need. So thank you, Rebecca. Our Give Away the Plate recipient for the month of March is Louisiana Aid for Advocates in Detention, and specifically a group within them called Home is Here. They are helping immigrants who have been released from detention, which is a good thing, and are trying to get to their sponsors so that they can start more of a normal life here in the U.S. So anything that comes in for the month of March that is not designated as a pledge, either online or in the baskets, will go to that organization. We have a special congregational meeting on April 16th. That's a Sunday. It will be after the worship service. We'll have options available to attend online or via Zoom. At that meeting, we are going to be voting on two things. First of all, getting a line of credit to help with our budget shortfall for this year, and also a vote about selling this property. In between now and then, after the worship services, our board president, Sally Wood, is going to be doing like informational Q&A kind of sessions. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have things you want to have answered or to have voiced, those will be available to you after the service as well. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Susan Caldwell, and I'm the Director of Religious Education. And so the first thing I want to talk about actually is religious education. We have got some wonderful teachers for our children and youth. Kevin Henry and Ash McLean are in the younger elementary class. They're working right now on a unit on peace, social justice, and the interdependent web. And they're going to be making a banner, and the banners this class has made in the past, we've actually used them here in the church, and so they're going to add to the banners that will go with us, wherever we go or wherever we stay. If you're home with your kids and you keep thinking, we're going to get back to church. First of all, Easter is coming. That's April 9th, and there will be an Easter egg hunt. So if you come back a little bit before that and the kids get to do some fun stuff with the banner before, that big Sunday when they get to hunt eggs, that would be a really cool thing. And in our middle and high school, they are actually looking at some really important stuff. They're studying something called, they're talking about together something called Allport's Ladder of Prejudice, where they talk about how in a society, when it goes from name calling through these steps on a ladder all the way to genocide, and he looked at the Holocaust, and he organized steps of this, and they look at that in terms of things they see happening in the world around them that are on those kind of lower rungs of this ladder, and how do we interrupt that? How do we work for justice in the world? And so again, if you're home with those older kids, this is a chance for them to come talk about some important stuff and also figure out things that they want to do, how they want to put it into action. And in adult religious education, we are talking about the Article 2 Commission, which is the group that is working on revising our principles and purposes. And so we took kind of a first look at that today, or a first look for some of us anyway. And I'm looking forward to kind of digging into that a little bit more. That's going to be 2 more votes, 2 more summers. If it becomes the new principles, it has 2 more summers to go through votes. Okay, St. Patrick's Day party. We want to thank Bob Jordan for some incredible music, along with Chris Webb, Scott Lowe, Sid Zeller, who am I leaving out? Elaine, yeah, and Jim Huckabee, good grief, yes. So y'all were so great, and of course our bartender excellence, Jennifer, and Ian helped out at the gate. So we thank you. We thank everybody who came, everybody who had some fun. It was great. Thank you, and thank you, Bob, for all the work that you put into that. Finally, the Interfaith Press Conference at the Caddo Parish Commission that I've been talking about for weeks that keeps getting postponed. We are officially on the agenda, so it's happening. It's happening tomorrow at 3 o'clock at Government Plaza. I know that's not a good time for people who are working during the day, but if you happen to have the time, please come and show up. It's likely that they are going to earmark $500,000 for the Community Lighthouse Project, which is a thing for when the grid goes down, that people can go to central locations to charge their phones, to get warm or get cool. And eventually we hope to have it integrated enough to where it would actually feed into the electrical grid. But we're starting with 2 pilot locations at the Highland Center and at Morning Star Baptist Church, and so this is a big deal, and we want as many of our folks there. This is North Louisiana Interfaith, which is an organization of organizations of which this congregation is a member. Thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. The event Friday night was stunning. It was stellar, and everybody that contributed food, everybody that contributed to set up and clean up, and all the musicians, thank you so much. As is the case, people kind of marked the thing on their little dance card that said, "I did church this week." because they came to the party. So if you look around and you don't see them, thank them for that fellowship, but remind him about this one. Now, if you'll catch your breath and let the pews hold you, lay the troubles of the world aside for a little bit. We're going to sing a song together. It might have more energy if you were to rise, but you don't have to. We will be doing that. So the lyrics will be on the screen. And those of you that know it, please sing loud. Goes over the banks every now and then. Tomorrow is spring equinox. At this time of balance, at this time of awakening, we celebrate the spring equinox. We honor the fertile earth. We honor the warming breezes. We honor the waxing light. We honor the nurturing rains, welcoming spring. Source of all, giver of life, we call to you, moving in us on this blessed morn. We celebrate the spring newly born. For 5,000 years or more than 15,000 generations, human beings have been invoking spiritual power. My predecessors and yours have gathered together to make sense of their lives and their place in the cosmos. And they've spoken aloud and invited what they conceived as sacred or powerful to be with them. Every group of people everywhere. They gathered to make sense of their lives and to make sense of their place in the cosmos, and they called these spirits to be present with them, and so do we. So do we. We gather this morning to make sense of ourselves and the universe in which we live as best we are able. And we call ourselves to worship together. And we invoke the power of wonder and of life itself, that to which all those spirits pointed the way. We invoke that power, which is, we know, always around us, always with us, but which we sometimes forget about. We forget that we are part of the whole of creation. We forget that we are stardust. We forget that we are capable of miracles, first among them, that we can love. We forget these things, so we invoke the power of existence so that we can remember, so we can lift our eyes and open our ears to the true and the beautiful. May we recognize and abandon the familiar attitudes and practices that do not serve the whole. We are who we are, and we have the opportunity to be what we want to be, to create a new inheritance for the future. May we give thanks for our individual place in time and space. Underneath and within the stories and histories is our humanity. Being human means we are of this earth. We are these waters. We are fire and atmosphere. Invite the choir and lip service trio up. I'm trying to keep stereo thing.
We appreciate the tuning.
Yes.
Honest.
Tune because you care.
It's
We
so
love that.
cold outside.
Well, this is probably closer than it was last time.
Once I was a fish, once I was a whale, swimming in the deep blue sea. And everything around me was a part of me. Oh, I fly so high and I dive so deep, living ecologically, going where it pleases, sea to shining sea. Oh, the cell is lost once it's broken, and I left so many of my siblings there in the ocean. But then I awake and I have to take a look at reality's thin line. Reality is only what is happening at the time. I walk the earth and I breathe the air and I swim upon the top of the sea. Wonder if anyone down there wonders what else
Good job.
You too, babe.
Who would like to help me lead the children's chalice lighting?
Oh, I forgot. I will.
Yes.
Every now and then we get lost in the order of service.
We
Light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other.
Thank you. The hours of the day and night are in balance. In honor of earth-centered traditions that celebrate this time of year, we observe that the flaming chalice holds the elements of the four directions: earth, air, fire, water. The lamp oil for earth, the air that feeds the flame, the fire we light, and the chalice itself, the cup, the symbol of water. We light our chalice and reflect on the balance we seek in our lives, the balance we seek in our hearts, and the balance we seek in the world. Would you please rise in body or spirit and say the unison affirmation with us as you're comfortable or willing and able? Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. We have a song. I hope it's close enough. Sorry. Need to plan better. Come on. I'm sorry, Al. Mighty river of nature of the universe carries us along. Past the rocks and rapids, you can fight it and crash, or bend it back to love and move on. Mighty river of the power of the universe, irresistible song. Teaches, let go. Mighty river of the nature of the universe carries us along. Past the rocks and rapids, you can find it and crash, or bend it back to love and move on. Mighty river of the power of the universe, irresistible song. Teaches letting go, and every moment till we find all that is one. Let that old river have your soul with her ever-rolling rhythm. Let that old river make you whole. Give her all that you can give her. Thank you.
In a minute, I get to introduce Sandra Odom, and she's going to play an original song for you. So I'm not going to take too long with this. But first, I want to ask you, what are some ways, we know water is precious, right? We need it to survive. What are some ways that we can take care of water? Yeah, Ava. What? Get more electric cars? That's true. More electric cars means less fossil fuels, less nasty stuff to get into the water, which actually has a lot to do with the song. What else? What are some other ways we can take care of water? Yeah. Recycle. Yeah. Yeah. Take shorter showers. That's right. That's right. Turn the water off when you brush your teeth. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yes, exactly, Jackson. Don't leave the water running. That's right.
Friend that is a water blesser, has blessings of the water, and there is an organization that does that.
Oh, wow. So Sandra just said there's an organization that does water blessings. They gather and do that. So that's pretty cool. Don't use single-use plastics. To try not to. I know. By the way, I have bought, thanks to Bennett Upton, our former board president and usual camera person, so you guys at home, if you're seeing weird camera things today, I apologize. But he told me about bar shampoo, and there's all different brands that you can buy, and I've got one right now that I really like. So I don't have to buy all those plastic bottles that you use, you use it all up, and then you've got this plastic bottle, and it's getting less and less easy, to recycle the plastic. There's hardly anybody that will do that anymore, so that's really important, just to stop using it as much as we can. Okay, I want to ask something of the grown-ups. Any grown-ups in here work on cars ever, like change your own oil, that kind of stuff? Daddy. And so when you have old oil,
Daddy is in the balcony
doing sound. I'm sorry, yes, Daddy is James, and he's doing sound in the balcony. So when you have old oil, after you've changed the oil, what do you do with that? Do you like pour it in the gutter or down the drain, or? No, what do you do with it? Your kids are telling me, yeah, you save it, and then isn't there like a special day where you can take stuff like that, and they, we hope, recycle it safely. Who takes it? AutoZone. Good to know. Good to know. So, yeah. So, if you're working on your own car, that is something really important to remember. Well, thank you for all your help. There are certain things that really shouldn't go in water, right? And oil is one of them. And a number of years ago, there was, as a lot of you probably remember, there was a horrible accident offshore. The Deep Horizon well exploded, and in many ways, we're still dealing with the effects of that. But I want to introduce Sandra Odom to sing for you, Oil in the Water. Sandra and friends, great. And Cookie Garner.
And Barbara.
And Barbara.
Let's see, twisted. Let me push this over somehow. I think I'm in tune now.
Yay, okay.
Are you in
Help
tune?
me out. I should be. Oil in the water. Everybody know oil and water don't mix. We got oil in the water. Everybody know ain't nobody can fix all that. Oil in the water. Trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. We got oil in the water. Anybody know how to clean up this mess? We got trouble. Trouble in the water. Trouble in the deep blue water. Got trouble. Trouble in the water. Trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. Oyster, jellyfish, sea bass too, redfish, grouper, and a big ballyhoo, shellfish, dolphin, porgy, and blue, shark and the turtle, just to name a few. We got oil in the water. Everybody know oil and water don't mix. We got oil in the water. Everybody know ain't nobody can fix all that. Oil in the water. Trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. We got oil in the water. Anybody know how to clean up this mess? Songbird, seagull, pelican too. Don't forget that big gray blue. Spoonbill, onion, eager to piss. Somebody give that flamingo a kiss. We got oil in the water. Everybody know oil and water don't mix. We got oil in the water. Everybody know ain't nobody can fix all that. Oil in the water. Trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. We got oil in the water. Anybody know how to clean up this mess? Oil in the water. Everybody know oil and water don't mix. We got oil in the water. Trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. We got oil in the water. Anybody know how to clean up this mess? We got oil in the water. Anybody know how to clean up this mess? We got trouble.
No.
In the water, trouble in the deep water, got trouble in the water, trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. Got trouble in the water, trouble in the water, got trouble in the water, trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. Got trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. Got trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. Lord, help us all to greedy to see. Our sole mission was to tend and to keep, to care for the planet, protect, to heed the law and the libel of cause and effect. We got oil in the water. Everybody know oil and water don't mix. We got oil in the water. Everybody know ain't nobody can fix all that. Oil in the water. In the water. Everybody know how to clean up this mess. trouble,
Trouble, trouble.
in the water, trouble, trouble, trouble in the water, trouble, trouble, trouble in the water, trouble for the people and trouble for the fish. We got trouble for the people and trouble for the fish, trouble for the people and trouble for the fish, trouble for the fish, trouble for the fish, trouble for the fish. We got trouble for the people and trouble for the fish.
That was close.
That was.
Now peace, may the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. I invite you now into a time of gratitude, reflection, renewal, and hope. What an unearned blessing to delight in the calming peace of this space. To hear the robin's song again at daybreak. To feel the warmth in this room. And to enjoy the promise of spring almost upon us. Each moment of wakefulness has so many gifts that offer energy and delight, yet too often they seem unavailable as the weight of the troubles press down on us. The threats to our well-being, real or exaggerated, feel like mosquitoes in the night looking for a place to land. Minds become captive to rising floodwaters, forceful, murky, threatening, and ominous. Even in moments of great danger, the direction of our attention is a choice. Fear can dominate the mind, bending it like a straitjacket. Or love can unbind it. Love. We have a choice for that focus. Love can unbind it and open it to resource and opportunity. The soil of the mind can be watered with kindness. The thorns can be removed one by one to appreciate the buds ready to flower. Great possibilities await us even if we can see in the cliff before us. Even if all we can see is the cliff before us. The grandeur of life of which we're a part. Holding reality and possibility together is the holy, hope-filled work of humanity. If we choose it again and again in love. Let us spend a moment in gratitude for the resources that we enjoy and can so easily, so often, just take for granted.
Susan. I hadn't seen her in a long time. The water is wide. I can't cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. Give me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row. My love and I. Love is gentle, and love is kind. The sweetest flower when first it's new. But love grows old and waxes cold and fades away like morning dew. There is a ship, she sails the sea. She's loaded deep, as deep can be, but not as deep as the love I'm in. I know not how I sink or swim. The water is wide. I can't cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. Give me a boat that can carry two, and both shall row. My love and I, and both shall row. My love and I.
So why all this water stuff? Thank you all so much. At the end of the summer, when we come back together after our vacations or right at the beginning of school, we have a water communion. We do all kinds of water stuff. Why aren't we doing it now? yes, spring starts tomorrow, but also Wednesday of this week is World Water Day. Now, in Shreveport, we have an embarrassment of riches. We are in a water-wealthy area. It rains just about every time we need water. But there are things that you may not be aware of we need to pay attention to. 6 or 7 years ago, a man named Murray Lloyd published an article in the Shreveport Times about who's stealing our water. He was talking about Cross Lake and the Red River waterways and the allotted amount that Texas is supposed to let come down the river. The allotted amount we are supposed to get that nobody was monitoring. Now, in this same span of years, nothing against Texas, they've got half a state that has no water most of the time. And they are trying to ship water that direction. They've, at some points, tried to buy water from Toledo Bend. The aquifer that's under this area goes across Texas all the way down into Mexico. And if they drain it, it's draining our aquifer as well. And they are talking about tapping that aquifer to send water to West Texas. All I'm saying, we had a commission that was supposed to monitor the water for it functioned for 10 years after its creation, and then at the time of Mayor Hightower, it stopped functioning, and I don't know that it ever went back to work. We may need to investigate that, you think? Cross Lake has 8 inlets, and I don't know what they are. I can't find it online. I'm thinking I'm pretty stupid about what's going on in our area about water. I remember that there was discussion, and I can't find anything about this, so I need people that are much better researchers than myself to help me find this information. But I remember that in order to discuss completing I-49 from where it ends at Allendale to where it ends north of MLK, no, south of MLK, I'm sorry. They had to redesignate wetlands so that they weren't protected areas. That was my understanding that they were going to accomplish at one point. And since they keep talking about using that right-of-way one way or another, I'm thinking they got it done. But what does all of this mean to us? We have a Cross Lake is a small reservoir that feeds the whole city, and the pipelines and things that go from it are antiquated. We don't have the money to redo the infrastructure, but we're annexing new parts of town that the same water system is supposed to feed. I'm just saying we need to pay attention. That's all. At this point, I would like to invite Bob Jordan to do a song for us, and then also share a couple of more thoughts before we. Thank you, Bob. Miss Susan, when she was doing Time for All Ages, was talking about stuff we can do. Did you know that it takes 924 gallons of water to make 2.5 pounds of rice? Did you know that it takes 2,641 gallons of water to make a pair of jeans? Did you know that it takes 3,962 gallons of water, which is almost 4,000, to make 2.2 pounds of beef? Rice is a tenth. No, rice is, I'm doing math in public. A quarter. It takes a quarter of the water. The World Health Organization says that 2 gallons a day per person meets most needs, and that 5 gallons a day for personal hygiene and grooming and food needs. So a total of 7 gallons a day per person adequately meets the needs of each individual. Yet American residents use, on average, 100 gallons a day apiece. Okay, just what we do. Did you know that it takes a quarter of a gallon of water per calorie of food that you eat? 4 calories is a gallon of water. Did you know that it takes 2.6 gallons of water for every single sheet of paper? Crazy stuff, huh? The things that we don't think affect the water do. Eating locally saves water. Fixing leaking pipes, emptying full septic tanks, not putting food waste, even cooking oils, medicines, or chemicals down your drain, down your toilet, or down the storm drain, because all of it goes back into the water table. Did you know that turning off your sleeping tech saves water? Currently, 90% of power generation is water intensive. So turning off every device you're not using saves water. Now, when I thought of the title about the water around here doesn't run at all, what I was thinking about is what we used to call the bayou. I think it's actually a false river, but now most people just refer to part of it and they call it the duck park, or the duck pond. You can see it turn green at some point every year, and it just sits there. It doesn't go anywhere. But our rainwater goes into that bayou. That bayou goes into the groundwater. The groundwater goes into our water systems. I mean, it doesn't run. There's no place for it to be refreshed. A lot of the waterways around here are kind of dead ends, but that's what retains the stuff that eventually ends up being used by us. If the water's not coming down the Red River waterway, or I'm sorry that I'm not remembering the exact name for that, to Cross Lake, then Cross Lake is getting the runoff too. I'm lazy. I do things the way I have always done them, and I need to be ashamed of that. We don't do shame. So I'll do it to me, and maybe you can do it to you. No, we don't. No. When you know better, you do better. So I'm going to try. And I'm going to try to pay more attention. I'm going to start asking questions that I haven't asked before of people that should have the answers to that stuff. And if they don't have the answers, I'm going to find out why. Water is a rare thing on this planet. It's getting more and more rare, and there are people buying up water rights all over the world that do not intend to give it to us when we need it. If it's a resource that we have, that we can share with the world, we better take care of it. World Water Day, Wednesday. I hope you'll think about it a little bit. I hope you'll maybe talk about it a little bit. I want to thank all the musicians for helping out today. Our closing song is about spring, and it's Rising Green. Certainly.
It's just speaking of knowing better and doing better, in my thank yous this morning, I left out two really big. Susan Yella did like so much of the setup for the party on Friday, and when you start listing people's names, and also Wendy and her granddaughter came and helped out so much. So I said Jennifer, yeah. Oh, the bartender I remember, but anyway.
And everybody cooked, and it was an amazing thing, and there was a lot of help, and it did a lot of good. So let's sing about spring. The lyrics will be up here. Rise and body or spirit, please. Oh, my blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak. Her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul like the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain. My hands hold the weavings of time without end. My side as deep as the sea. Beating my heart sounds the measures of old, that of love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. I feel the tides as they answer the moon, rushing on a far distant sand, winging my song in the wind of my breast, and my love blows over the land. And my love, and my love, and my love blows over the land. My foot carries days of the old into new. Our dreaming shows us the way. Wondrous our faith settles deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day. Blessed is the dark in which our dreams stir and are revealed. Blessed is the dark of earth where seeds come to life. Blessed are the depths of the ocean where no light shimmers, the womb of all earthly life. Blessed is the light into which we awake, the light that sparkles on the waters, that calls the tree forth from the seed and calls the shadow forth from the tree. Blessed are we as we move through darkness and through light. May we know fully and deeply the blessings of each of our heart's seasons, and may your passage from season to season be blessed, eased by hands to hold, and by the light of love to guide you on. So be it. Ashe. Amen. Blessed be.
And the river opens for the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous someday. I was walking with my sister, and she asked me what's on my mind. I said what I believe with my soul, it ain't what I see with my eyes, and we can turn our backs this time. I am a patriot, and I love my country, because my country is all I know. Wanna be with my family, people who understand me. I've got nowhere else to go. And the river opens for the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous someday. And I was talking with my mother, she looked so kind. I said, Mama, what's on your mind? She said, I wanna run like a lion, released from the cages, released from the rages, burning in my heart tonight. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I ain't no communist, and I ain't no socialist, and I ain't no imperialist, and I ain't no capitalist, and I ain't no Democrat, sure ain't no Republican. I only know one party, it is freedom. I am a patriot, and I love my country, because my country is all I know. And the river opens for the righteous, 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 opens for the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous, for the righteous, and the river opens released from the rages, for the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous. I believe with my soul, the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous, what I see with my eyes, and the river opens for the righteous someday, 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 and the river opens for the righteous, 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 and the river opens righteous. Thank you.
Robin Patterson.